In the last few weeks of Moshe Rabbeinu's life in this world, he starts to remind Klal Yisrael what he did for them over the last few years. And he says, as quoted in this week's Parsha, Eicha esa lavadi, how can I carry alone everything? One of the things that Moshe Rabbeinu mentions is masachem, your burdens. I carried alone your burdens. Says the Ramban, what is it referring to when Moshe Rabbeinu says burden? It means tefillah. Asks the Ramban, how can Moshe Rabbeinu call tefillah, the fact that he davened for Klal Yisrael, a burden? Isn't that a bad thing? Answers the Rosh Hashiva of Hebron, no. Because when Moshe Rabbeinu felt somebody else's pain, he took it on as his own. It was a burden. And therefore the fact that Moshe Rabbeinu called it a burden means that he took the pain of everybody else as his own. And that's a wonderful asset. A young successful businessman is driving down the street with his brand new BMW a little bit too fast. And he's watching out for kids darting out from between the cars on the side. And he's driving down the road and all of a sudden he hears a huge bang. He slams on the brakes and he notices somebody threw a brick at his brand new BMW. He reverses to where he sees a kid, gets out the car, takes the nearest kid and starts screaming at him. What are you doing? That's my brand new BMW. Do you know how much money it's going to cost for me to repair that? The kid looks at him with a sad face. Please sir, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to do any damage, but nobody else would stop. I had no other choice, but I had to throw a brick. He looked at him and said, what do you mean? The boy had tears going down his cheek and he said, it's my brother. He's in a wheelchair, but he fell out. I think he's hurt. He's too heavy for me. Would you help me put him back into his wheelchair so I can take him home? The poor man tried to swallow the lump in his throat and he said, sure, no problem. He goes over to the side, he sees a boy on the floor. He puts him back into the wheelchair with a fancy handkerchief he takes from his pocket. He dabs the blood from the forehead. He sees that everything's okay. He tells the boy, don't worry, everything's fine. And he watches with great emotion how the boy continues to push his brother in the wheelchair down the street. The man gets back into his BMW and he never repairs the damages. And he uses it as a message. Don't go through life so fast that someone has to throw a brick at you in order to get their attention. It's one thing understanding our own pain, but understanding and feeling somebody else's pain is a whole different level. Moshe Rabbeinu in this week's parasha teaches us that to take somebody else's pain as our own is one of the greatest things. It's right before Tisha B'Av. Perhaps the reason that we still have a Tisha B'Av is because we're not feeling everybody else's pain. There's so much pain. We have to learn to take that pain as our own and try to help others, daven for them, and do whatever we can do to share that burden. And if we did that, we may not have a Tisha B'Av. Have an amazing Shabbos. "30 people for 7 hours, with more than 15 dead bodies literally fallen over her. She remained inside the bomb shelter."
She was about to give up.
We get a little bit stale, and the Shir Amanas after davening just doesn't do it. When you start to see what they experienced, when you start to hear the stories, when you almost see the horror, it can change everything. And hopefully, it can make us more connected people.